Hi guys, how are you? This is Lois. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're safe and well wherever you are. I am doing so well, better than I deserve, guys. Now, where am I here? This is the second video that I promised you about the changes in the express entry. I'm just explaining the programs through the express entry just so that you understand them. Okay, you know, in my line of duty here, when I'm doing consultations, actually a lot of people tell me, you know, Lois, I applied to express entry and I was rejected. I know I qualified, but I was rejected. And I'm like, okay, let's check, come slowly, you know, let's step back, one step back, and see whether you actually qualify or whether you actually even understand what the express entry is. And I've said that the express entry is not a program, it's a platform that processes 3 immigration programs. And today I want us to talk about one of those programs, the most famous program. It's called the Federal Skilled Worker Program. And this is calling upon all the skilled people. Come on, guys. So call on to your friends, everybody, skilled workers. Where are you? You know, people tell me, Lois, I want to come to Canada as a skilled worker and I want to tackle this. I want to clear the air here. So they say, I want to come to Canada as a skilled worker. But I figure that some of them haven't really understood what that means. It means you are qualified as a skilled worker where you are. Canada needs you because Canada needs to grow this economy. They need skilled people who are job ready. But then you have to apply. You have first to meet the requirements and then you have to apply. You have to go through the process that takes about a year and you have to pay quite a good amount of money. And then after that, you come to Canada as a landed immigrant, as a permanent resident, like a boss. You know, you march in here like a boss, but not with a job. That is the issue. So people are like, oh no, I cannot leave my country without a job. And I'm like, I don't know. You know, if that is the condition, then you're not talking about the express entry or rather the federal skilled worker class. You're talking of, you know, work permits, and that's a totally ball game altogether that we're not discussing here. Okay, so the federal skilled worker class helps you to come here. You are qualified, you bring that talent, and you come to Canada and you look for employment in your area of training. Okay, that is what I want to address here. And those are the people who are the majority who are processed through the express entry. Okay, now I did a video about the changes of the NOCs into the tiers. So now we have previously we were using the NOC 2016 and now we are using the NOC 2021. And the NOC 2021 is not about skill level O, A, B, C, D. We are now talking about tier O1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So just a backstory there. So skill level O has now become tier O. Skill level A has become tier 1. Skill level B has become tier 2 and tier 3. And skill level C has become tier 4. Skill set D has become tier 5. You knew that to get into the express entry, to qualify for the federal skilled worker class specifically, you needed to be at least in OAB. Okay, B was the minimum. So the same thing, we are transitioning, and you find that you will get into the federal skilled worker class if you qualify under tier O, or rather 0, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. So tier O, tier 1, 2, and 3. So 4 tiers will now make it into the express entry, my friend. Okay. So what are the other requirements for you? Of course, being skilled means that you've gone to school, you know, you have post-secondary education. Most of the time you have a college education, you have a degree, you have a master's, you have all the education that you can master. Okay, so we always look at 5 factors. Which are the factors that you need to meet for the federal skilled worker class? For English, you need at least a CLB 7. Okay, it doesn't change, it's constant. That is minimum CLB 7, whether that is in English or French. Okay, and when I talk about minimum, people, does minimum always cut? No, Minimum will get you into the door, but is it gonna give you success? That is a question you need. So get as high as possible. Get a higher CLB. So CLB 10 is the best. You can get a 10 or a 9 preferably, or an 8. So 7 doesn't necessarily cut, okay? And then there's age people. You know, there's there's the minimum, which is 18. You can go all the way up to 50 if you meet the other qualifications. I usually find that in Canada, the moment you hit 50, your immigration options kind of dim. It doesn't mean that you cannot immigrate here, because we actually have provincial nomination programs that you can immigrate through. You can even come here as a student. So if you fall under that class of over 50 and you just want to explore what you can do, please talk to me. I need to look at your profile to tell you, okay? But for age, the younger the better, okay? The younger the better. Doesn't mean that when you're 40 years old you could still meet the requirements, because at that point maybe you have higher education, you have more work experience, you have better languages, you have a job offer, you have, you know, ABCD, all those things, okay? So language is CLB 7, age between 18 and 50, that's what I would say. And then for work experience in an occupation that is either now tier 0, tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3, okay? Those are the tiers that will make it into the express entry under the federal skilled worker class, okay? And then how much work experience do you actually need? You need at least one continuous, the main word here is continuous, work experience within the last 10 years, or a combination of part-times, okay? Full-time or more than one job in your primary occupation, okay? 1 year continuous within the last 10 in the required tiers 0, 1, 2, and 3, okay? Do you need a job offer? No, you do not need a job offer. I know you don't need a job offer, but if you get a job offer, then you get more points as long as you have a valid job offer. I know a lot of you keep sending me emails. They're like, Lois, I have this job offer. Do you want to check whether it's legit? I would love to help you, my friend. But I just can't look at it like this and tell you this is legit, this is not. Please book a consultation and I will help you check whether it's a legitimate job offer, okay? And then, of course, education. Yes, you will need at least secondary school education for you to apply through federal skilled worker class. Remember what I said, guys. Yes, you will need just that is the minimum. That is what the government says, you know. There's a famous Kenyan saying that I keep seeing on social media that says kwa ground vitu ni different, you know, that things are different on the ground, okay? What does this mean? I feel like chuckling every time I go on the RCC website. It says minimum high school education. But yes, that's the minimum, but yes, it qualifies you, but will you still meet the points? Because at the end of the day, what matters is the points. Will you get the relevant points to get an invitation? I hear that this program might actually be changing in the next near future, whereby they might start inviting people by occupations in demand and not necessarily by point system. But as of today, I can only tell you what's here today, what is confirmed. They're still inviting people by the CRS score. So the higher the CRS score you have, the better. And right now, the CRS score that is being invited is about 494, 496, 497. I believe it's gonna come down a little bit more. You know, it was very discouraging when they came back and they were inviting 500 and what was it, 557? That was crazy. And I told you guys, they are going to exhaust those guys who had those high scores, because those are mostly the people who came to Canada during the COVID situation and they studied here. So they got the extra points through Canadian education and Canadian work experience. That's why they had the upper hand. But you know what? They were limited, and now we're seeing the score come down. So If you're there for 78, for 75, for 80 soon, you could be lucky. So just hold on tight, hold on tight. If you're not there yet, please work on improving your points just so that you can meet these requirements. So with these NOC changes, or rather with these tier changes, if you plan to submit your express entry profile either today or after today, you must make sure that you search your occupation under the NOC 2021 list on the ESDC website. Remember, I did that video to show you exactly how to do that. And then you must submit your tier category and the 5-digit occupation code when filling out your profile, okay? If you have already submitted a profile under the last NOC, but you haven't received an invitation, that is to apply, you must search for your NOC under the NOC 2021, and then you must update your profile with the tier category and the 5-digit occupation, okay? For you to remain eligible to receive an ITA, your profile must be updated on today or after today, okay? If you have already received an invitation to apply, that is like before today, if you already got an invitation the last few days, then you must submit your application for PR using the NOC 2016. So this is for people, these changes are for people who have not submitted their applications, okay? So if you received an invitation already, then you must use the old NOC 2016. Okay, with the comprehensive ranking system, okay, the points that you will get will be dependent on the skill level of the tier, okay? For example, if you would have received 50 points for arranged employment, I said employment is not necessary, but let's say you have that arranged employment in a skill level O, A, or B, now you will start to get 50 points for employment in tier O, 1, 2, or 3. Okay, so it's just direct transition. Whatever points you got for your previous NOC is the same point that you get in your current tier. After you meet these requirements, my friend, this is what we call eligibility. There's still another thing that you have to go through that is called admissibility. And you know what, I am doing a video on admissibility because we're having so many issues on inadmissibility, okay? But that's a separate discussion altogether. For this program, you still have to be admissible financially, like you have to have the right proof of finances for this program. Even for for this program, you must have proof of finances, and you must also have a clean criminal record, and you must also have a clean bill of health, okay? So you must be admissible in all those 3 fronts, otherwise you could be eligible but not admissible. So make sure that you are admissible and eligible, just so that you're not in a position whereby you are deemed to be inadmissible in this country. Okay, my friend? All right, so I did a video that showed you exactly how to check for your tier. I'm going to append that video in the description part of this video. So take your time, go down there, see how you can reach out to me, see where you can book a consultation, see where you can check your tier and other videos that are, that are related to this, that are just gonna help you in making your immigration decision. So thank you for keeping it here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye now.